Whether the team is performing clean or unsightly, we'll cover it all here on Washington Football Nightly. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So wide receiver Curtis Samuel was officially placed on IR today. Announcement made by head coach Ron Rivera at a quick presser and address with the media. This is something that I alluded to after the setback on Wednesday at practice, and I said this very definitively. If I were Washington, and remember, we didn't know the severity of the injury. He was back at practice yesterday, but not on the field practicing. He wasn't a participant, but back out there stretching and things of that nature. So that lets me know that it wasn't a re-aggravation that's going to require surgery or something like that. Had it been something significant, we wouldn't have seen him on the practice field at all. There wouldn't have been pictures of him stretching or any of that. He would not have been on the side field. He would have not been in attendance at all. He would not have been on the field. So that let me know it was a minor snag, but a snag nonetheless and a setback. So I said, if you're Ron Rivera, the best thing to do is to just put him on IR. And I said this back on Wednesday because I've had a groin injury before playing football as a receiver. I know what that feels like. And again, I'm not Curtis Samuel. I don't have the twitch. I don't have the quickness, the speed, none of that stuff. So I can only imagine how it hampers a guy like him. I can just tell you from experience with a groin injury, it did not get better until I sat my ass down and let it heal. And that wasn't until after the season. So, again, time is the only thing. If surgery isn't an option, which Ron said it is not an option for them, and a lot of people always go straight to surgery. Well, it's not you having the surgery. If I don't have to have surgery, I'm not looking to have surgery as a player. I'm trying to avoid surgery at all costs. If that's the only way that I can get something cleaned up and heal up properly, then yeah, you do what you got to do. But if I can avoid surgery, that's what I'm looking to do. And so this isn't something that necessarily needs surgery to be repaired. It just needs time. And I told you guys that already. And to me, what makes the most sense is to not rush him. I've said this a million times. You're going to hear it a million more from me. This is not a sprint, but rather a marathon. This is a full season that you're looking to get better as a football team. And I'm a glass half full guy. I'm an optimist. I tell you that all the time. So I'm looking at it from this perspective. The offense is going to get better. We're going to get a boost in 3 or 4 weeks. Now, when you put a guy on IR, short-term IR, which Curtis Samuel, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names has been placed on, that's an automatic 3 weeks, a minimum of 3 weeks he has to be on IR, okay? So he's not going to be eligible to return and be pulled off of IR and back to the active roster until week 4 at Atlanta at the earliest, okay? So to me, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One, the most important thing is that he get healthy, that he have time and he's not under the microscope of trying to get back, trying to fight to get back with his brothers out on the football field and having that pressure of, people wanting to know, is he going to play? 2, you don't have to worry about the media or fans or anybody continuing to pester you and pepper you with questions about Curtis Samuel and do we have an update and how's he looking in practice and what's he doing with treatment? How's he responding to it? You don't have to answer those questions now. He's on IR. Don't ask me about it. So that's something else you're able to nip in the bud. And that's why I thought on Wednesday that was the smart route to go, because the media is going to continue to push. They want answers because we want answers as fans. And they're the conduit for us. They're the mouthpiece for us as fans. So they're going to go out there and they're going to ask questions because we want to know. And the only way we're going to find out is if they ask the questions. So if you don't want to deal with that constantly over and over again, how's Curtis Samuel? How's he looking? How's the treatment going? How's he responding? If you don't want those questions, put him on IR. Then you don't have to deal with them. So he did that. Smart move by the organization and Ron Rivera. And I told you, I'm glass half full. This is going to give us a boost whenever he returns. So if we think the offense is playing well, or maybe they're a little bit flat and they could use a jolt of energy, Here comes Curtis Samuel, right around the first quarter pole of the season. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And we've put ourselves in this position with the moves made in the offseason to build this depth to be able to weather the storm of an injury like this. So I like where we are, and I can't tell you, and we're going to talk more about this in the next segment of the show and other news, but I can't tell you the last time we've been this healthy heading into a season opener. So if Curtis Samuel being banged up and placed on IR is the least of our worries, if that's the only thing we have to worry about from an injury standpoint, knock on a little bit of wood here, then you should feel really good, okay? You shouldn't be complaining. You shouldn't be bitching about, oh my God, another failed, free agent signing, a guy wearing a jersey number 10 that can't stay healthy. You shouldn't be worried about any of that. This is why you have other guys to step up. This is not a one-man show. So the beauty of it is, at some point, he's going to come back. And if he's healthy, he's going to add a dimension to our offense that we will be lacking without him in the lineup. So we'll be adding a huge piece to this offense. Maybe week 4, maybe week 5 against the Saints, week 6 against the Chiefs. Somewhere in that neighborhood, Curtis Samuel will return to the field, and it will give us a spark, and it will give us a few wrinkles that defenses haven't seen in the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the season. So it's almost like first week preparation for teams all over again because they don't know what they're going to get from Curtis Samuel in a Washington uniform. So I'm excited about that aspect of it. Sucks that he won't be out there for the first 3 weeks, but I'm more interested in the long haul. Can we get this guy back and have him play 14 games, 13 games, instead of having this guy in and out of the lineup, in and out of the shot, and he ends up only playing in 8 or 9 games. I'd much rather him play in double-digit games this season. Best way to do that is to let him rest and heal up. So we go to our next segment in other news. And we got a big ball game. I know you guys watched the Cowboys lose last night in excruciating fashion. Man, I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth. I was as nervous as anyone could be for a game that didn't involve their team. I had no business being as nervous as I was, but I wanted the loss for them so bad. If they won that game, oh my God, Cowboys fans today would have been insufferable. They probably already are because now they think they're going to the Super Bowl because they went toe-to-toe with the defending Super Bowl champions in their building. So they probably already think they're going to the Super Bowl. Could you imagine had they actually won the game? So I was a nervous wreck. Glad they lost, but that's behind us. That's not our problem. That's theirs. We are trying to win a ball game. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later on in the program. But I want to talk about the injury report first for the upcoming contest. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll come back and we'll turn our attention to what was said by some of the coaches and players during the course of this week. So let's take a look at the injury report. And what we've been able to find out now is that Curtis Samuel is in fact out for this game, but not just this game, the following 2 thereafter at a minimum. So he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season at minimum on IR. He'll be eligible to return week 4 at Atlanta. So that's the target date. It may be soon. It may be later than that. It may be 4 weeks, week 4, essentially. We'll see. But as far as the Chargers are concerned, I'm really only concerned with one guy because, as I mentioned to you guys, Brian Bulaga, their starting right tackle, and Gabe Neighbors, their fullback, their starting fullback, are both full participants. So they were full participants Wednesday, same with Thursday. Those guys are playing. Barring some kind of setback, those guys are going to play. So I'm not worried about them. Brian Bulaga would have been a big deal if he weren't able to go, but he is. I'm not worried about Trey Marshall, their defensive back. Whether he plays or not is not a big deal to me. Okay? They've got a bunch of guys that they can throw in there. We'll see what happens. Austin Eckler was the guy we were all focused on. And we've already received reports from Los Angeles that he practiced today. Now, to what extent? Was it limited? Was it full? Don't know. The fact that he practiced is a great sign for the Chargers that he'll probably be able to suit up. Now, again, I don't want to make assumptions. I don't know all of the details. I just know at the time of this recording, he practiced. And I'm thinking he's going to give it a go. It may be in a limited capacity. He may not be his full dynamic self. But if he's out there, you have to treat him as if he's normal Austin Eckler, and that's a problem. So I was hoping we could get a 1-for-1. One of our big guys, Swiss Army knife, gadget guys out. I was hoping we could get a 1-for-1, and theirs could be out too. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So doesn't look like Austin Eckler's going to miss the game. Look, I'm not begging for anything. I'll take anything you give me, but I'm not begging for it. I'm not walking down the schedule begging for guys to not play. If they're banged up and they can't go, I'll take it. But if they show up suited and booted and ready to go, all right, come get this ass whooping. That's what I'm looking to do. I want your best on the field because I don't want any excuses if we get the dub. Because I'm not looking to make any if we don't get it. So I'm glad that he is a guy that is in doubt because maybe we won't get 100% of Austin Eckler because he's a damn good football player. If he plays, I'm with it. Come get it. If he doesn't, that's a good sign for us, and that's going to help us defend the Chargers offense a lot better. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Looks like Austin Eckler is trending towards playing more so than not playing in the upcoming Week 1 contest versus the good guys. So let's talk about some of the pressers from the week. Normally, this was a weird week. Things were somewhat out of whack. Generally, we'll get Scott Turner on Wednesdays with the starting quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. On Thursdays, we'll get Jack Del Rio and maybe a defensive player as well. And you usually get Ron each of those days as well. That didn't happen this week. It was a different week because of the way things were set up with the bonus bye week, essentially. So it was a little off kilter. And Washington's also preparing for a short, quick turnaround in Thursday Night Football, Week 2 versus the Giants. So I think the schedule was a little bit different than it normally would be. But that said, we still heard from both Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio. It just happened to be on the same day. We also heard from Chase Young, among others. And so quickly, just to recap what was said, I enjoyed Del Rio. I always enjoy Jack Del Rio. You usually don't get a ton from Jack, but he does give you some crumbs. He'll drop a few crumbs and give you something to munch on, but it's not going to be much. Scott Turner, on the other hand, just depends on if you ask the right questions. You ask the right questions, you can get responses that will give you something to talk about. But if you don't ask the right questions, he's not just going to offer up anything. So he talked about this offense and its growth and guys having to step up. Year 2 feels a lot different than year 1. Both coordinators said that and expressed that year 2 in their scheme with players that have been in the scheme now for consecutive years, it feels like they have progressed and that they can take that next step now. You add in some pieces from the outside, whether via the draft or free agency, those guys are going to come in and assimilate themselves to either the offensive or defensive sides of the football, and it's going to help them grow. Last year, Jack Del Rio in particular said that this defense got better as the year wore on. He wants to see that happen again, but he says he wants to start faster, meaning the floor was really low last year, and then they got better as the season wore on, and we were a really good unit at season's end. Still had our problems here and there, had our weak spots, and things of that nature. But as the season grew, we saw this team come together, especially on the defensive side of the football. Most notably, Dallas on Thanksgiving, Pittsburgh the following week, and then the week after that, the San Francisco 49ers on that 4-game win streak. So we've seen this team come together and play some top-notch ball, but he wants to see them start faster. Last year, we started very slow. We spotted the Philadelphia Eagles 17 before scoring 27 unanswered. We were dominant defensively in the second half of that game. Really, we put up some big-time numbers in the first half of that game. It started with the Fab Moreau interception, and it kind of went downhill for the Eagles after that. But then the following week, we got gashed by the Arizona Cardinals. The week after that, the Cleveland Browns emasculated us on the ground in that football game. And then I think the week after that, it was the Rams. If not the Rams, it was the Ravens and then the Rams. Either way, it wasn't good. I think it was the Ravens because that was the last start for Dwayne. And that wasn't a great showing. And then the week after that, it was the Rams. And that was maybe the worst showing of the season defensively. So we started slow last year. He wants to start faster this year, understandably so. And so he talked about that. He talked about the growth of Chase Young and what they're looking to see from him in year 2. He talked about Justin Herbert and how he's the total package. He's big. He's athletic. He's got a cannon for a right arm. He can make all the throws. He's a smart guy, makes smart decisions with the football. You know, all the accolades and praises that you shower young players with that look like Justin Herbert did last year as the reigning offensive rookie of the year. So we've got our work cut out for us. Obviously, Del Rio mentioned as much, and he says, look, our schedule is brutal. You know, we play the creme de la creme at the quarterback position, and it starts with this young fella, Justin Herbert. Nobody's feeling sorry for us, and we're not asking for anybody's sympathy. He says, look, at the end of the day, I tell the players, and this is, you know, my mantra, this is Del Rio saying this, you know, the mantra for me is, you know, fear no one, respect everyone, okay? So, essentially, we respect Tom Brady, we respect Aaron Rodgers, we respect Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. We respect Dak Prescott twice a year. We respect these guys. We do not fear them, though. I don't care that Patrick Mahomes is a league MVP. I don't care that Aaron Rodgers was the league MVP last year. Tom Brady is 44 years old and still throwing daggers and darts out on the football field as the GOAT. Don't care. We respect that. We respect their talents. We don't fear them. We don't put any player or team above us and say that we can't. I love that message because the schedule is tough. It's brutal. The kind that will split your noodle if you're not careful. But it's also a great litmus test for this team. Where do we stand? Everyone wants to crown us as an elite defense. My response is, oh yeah? Okay, show me. I'm from Missouri. Show me. I want to see that this defense is as good as advertised. Well, we're going to find out. And Del Rio pretty much said, we got to go out and we got to execute. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. As far as Scott Turner is concerned, his biggest focus was, hey, look, we have to go out and we have to take advantage of opportunities that are in front of us. We're going to have guys step up with no Curtis Samuel in the lineup. We're going to have to be able to play situational football. There's no Peyton Barber. That was posed to him. And he said, yeah, but, you know, Peyton was exceptional in the short yardage situations, but we got backs that we believe in. And Antonio Gibson will have the first crack at, you know, the first third down and short that we have. We believe in our guys to be able to pick that up. Guys have to be able to do the things that we need them to do. And we got to put guys in the right positions to make plays. And I think he is so confident now that he has a quarterback that he thinks can be an extension of him on the field. You know, you draw up a play, and this is the guy you really want to isolate and get the football to. And last year, those guys came open, and they didn't get the football. And it's not always going to be your first read that needs to get the football. You know, last year it felt like one's not open. I'm going to give a quick glance to two, and then I'm checking it down. Logan Thomas, J.D. McKissick, here you go. One of you guys bail me out. This year, you want to survey the entire field. You want to be able to take advantage of some shot plays and some chunk plays that may exist. There were open receivers last year, you know, and Scott Turner caught grief, I thought, unnecessarily and at times unjustified for things that didn't go down the way that it should have because he's the play caller. And this is a results-based league. but he called the right plays and guys were schemed open and they just didn't get the football. And I think he's excited about having Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, you take the good with the bad. I think he's excited about having Ryan Fitzpatrick pull the trigger for him this year. And so we'll see what that looks like in week 1 versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chase Young talked about his growth and being healthy this year. Wasn't healthy last season, had the hip and the groin last year. It affected him all year long, but he played through it. Feels great this year. Talked about Rashawn Slater and the matchup with him. And he talked about, being hungry and how all of them want to eat against their entire offensive line. It's an improved offensive line. Jack Del Rio spoke about that as well. And I've talked about that they've done a total 180 with that offensive line. It was a sieve a year ago, and really the previous years before that, they went out and they addressed the offensive line in a major way, went out and got Corey Linsley. They drafted Rashawn Slater to go along with Brian Balaga, who is at right tackle now. And they went out and got Ode Abuche as well to man up the right guard position. They are a totally different offensive line. Can we take advantage of it? We'll see. Young also talked about Joey Bosa and what makes him so unique and special. And remember, they both went to Ohio State. Young watched Joey Bosa as a young up-and-coming player at Ohio State. They were both coached by Larry Johnson. So they know that the similarities are there and how dynamic of a player Joey Bosa can be if you're not able to contain him. So there were a number of different things that were said amongst him, and also Charles Leno Jr. stepped up to the mic as well. And at the end of the day, these players are focused on the task at hand, and that's good to know. And we'll see what the results are, but they're not getting their heads blown up. Hence we haven't heard any of the stupid nicknames or things of that nature that used to come out of this building years ago. You have a little bit of success and all of a sudden there's a nickname. None of that has come to fruition this year, and nor should it. Okay, no one needs to be dubbing the defensive line this or the defense that. To hell with that. Go out and make some shit happen, and then we'll come back and reassess what the damage was, and then we can start giving out accolades and nicknames and things of that nature. But you have to earn those things, and 1 year doesn't do that in this league. So everyone seems to be focused on the task at hand, which is the Los Angeles Chargers in week 1, and I'm excited to hear all of those things. And now I'm just even more anxious to see it play out on the field. So now let's take a look at the Chargers a lot closer. Let's put them under a microscope and go behind enemy lines and talk about what it's going to take to get a victory over the Los Angeles Chargers in week 1. Game will be on CBS, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. In the past, we've done well on CBS. Remember, we're an NFC team. Most of our games are on Fox. But last year, the last time we played on CBS, it was a nightmare. We played the Carolina Panthers on CBS, and it was a disaster of a football game, as you guys can remember. It was a 4:05 kickoff. They moved the game back because Dallas was playing the Eagles, and we had a chance to clinch and all of that stuff. So they wanted that game, Dallas against the Eagles, to matter. So they moved our game back to 4:05, and it was a nightmare, and it was on CBS. Does that matter in the grand scheme of things? No, but I'm petty. I think about these things. So generally, before that loss, I thought we had some really good success. We had a run there of like 3 out of 4 wins on CBS. But I don't know about starting week 1 on CBS. That's weird. Generally, week 1 for us is definitely on Fox, if not on primetime television. So that's something to consider. 1:05 kickoff at FedEx Field in front of the home faithful, we hope, for the first time since 2019. So this is the first time Chase Young and some of these guys, especially the draft class from last year, have played in front of a stadium with fans inside of it at FedEx Field. Now, again, I wanted to say a stadium packed. Don't know if it's going to be packed. And full of Washington fans. Don't know if it's going to be full of Washington fans. We're going to see. We're going to see what this thing looks like. I'm anxious to see what that looks like as well. But as we get to the breakdown, keys to the game, I like to give you 4 on offense, 4 on defense. I always like to start on what I think is the lesser side of the football. So we're going to start with the keys to the game for the Washington offense versus the Chargers defense. And so the first key to the game is establish the run and be balanced. So I don't think we all watched the Cowboys game last night, and I don't think it's smart on our part to try and mirror what Dallas did with Dak Prescott and have Ryan Fitzpatrick throw it 58 times. I think that would be a recipe for disaster. So I think if you're Washington, and that's not what they're looking to do, but we've seen Scott Turner go past crazy before, i.e. the Panthers game, where it seemed like he lost his mind for a second, and the Chargers or the Panthers were giving up 6-7 a pop on the ground, and yet he thought it was the best way to attack them was through the air with Dwayne, no less. In any event, I think we need to establish the run because I look at the Chargers, and they do have Linval Joseph now, and that's a big guy in the middle. But I look at their defense as a whole, especially the second wave at linebacker and moving back into the secondary. They're a small team. They're not a big physical team. You can move these guys. Now, they've got some horses on that D-line, Jerry Heavy Artillery, and Linval Joseph and Joey Bosa. I've talked about the big guys up front. They've got some girth up there. They don't have that same girth at the second level. They've got guys that look like safeties that are playing linebacker, guys that are 220, 225 pounds that are running around at the linebacker position. They're fast. I don't think the way that you establish the run is to try to spread them out and run because they're faster than us. Defensively, they may be one of the fastest defenses we'll see all season long. They've got that kind of speed and athleticism all throughout their defense on all three levels. So I don't think spreading them out and getting cute with the run game is what you want to do. You don't want to run away from the Chargers. I think you want to run at the Chargers because they're such a small defense. So I think establishing the run is something that will really help settle down Ryan Fitzpatrick. What I don't want to see is us come out and it's 3 straight Ryan Fitzpatrick throws and it's a 3 and out. And I'm not just saying run the football for the sake of running the football. I want them to run the football because I think it's the best way to soften up this Chargers defense to then give us opportunities to push the football vertically. They've got to respect the run and they got to bring an extra defender to defend the run. That will give us opportunities maybe to get Terry loose one-on-one, maybe to get De'Ami Brown some one-on-one on the outside. You know, Terry's still going to command double teams and they're still going to pay attention to 17. You get the De'Ami Brown in the slot. You get De'Ami Brown outside. Maybe he's able to get a one-on-one matchup and run by one of their corners without safety help over the top. So I'd like to see them establish the run and be balanced. I don't want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing this thing 39 times in week 1. Now, if he has to, he has to. You know, if we fall behind, then you got to do what you got to do. We don't want to put ourselves in that position. But I'd like to see Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing it 29 times, 27 times. And us running the football, establishing the run, and getting into a rhythm and being balanced. But if he's got to throw it 33 times, I'm fine with that. But I don't want him pushing 40. That's when you get into that danger zone, and you're probably going to end up on the wrong side of this thing if you're Washington. Spread the wealth is the next key to the game offensively. Yeah, we got Terry. And everyone else in the league now knows we have Terry. So that's going to be the focal point defensively for teams. It's to stop number 17 and then slow down 24. Remember the scouting report from Mike Tomlin when we played the Steelers? Hey, stop 17, slow down 24, and on third downs, look for 41 and 82. That was our offense last year, right? We've got more players now. We've got more depth. We've got more skill guys to get the football to. Let's see it. Let's unveil this offense. We won't be at 100%. We won't have all of the pieces that we would like to put out on the field week 1. But we got Adam Humphries. We got De'Ami Brown. We still got Cam Sims. We've got weapons that we can distribute the football to. You still got Logan Thomas. You got J.D. McKissick. You got Antonio Gibson. Spread the wealth. Doesn't need to be a one-man show. It shouldn't be Terry or else. You've got other guys. They need to see. De'Ami Brown needs to see opportunities to touch it. Whether it's a slant, whether it's a go ball, whether it's a sluggo, whether it's a corner route, De'Ami Brown needs opportunities. Adam Humphries on third down needs to win. Stay on his feet, catch the damn ball. Spread the wealth. Give the Chargers more to think about than just, they want to get it to 17. Look for explosive plays, but move the sticks is the next key. So one of the biggest problems last year was the lack of explosive plays by this offense. That's no secret. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I talked about it all year last year, talked about it a ton this offseason leading up to this point. That's something they wanted to change, and the moves made in the offseason reflect that. They got faster. They got a quarterback in here that they think is going to push the football down the field, and even his backup is a guy that has proven in just a quarter and a game and a quarter, essentially 5 quarters of football, that he will push the football down the field here. So we've already established that this offense can be more explosive and dynamic, and it starts with the quarterback position. I want them to take shots. If Dyami Brown doesn't have at least 2 deep shots taken to him, that's a problem for me. In just about every game, I need Dyami Brown to get vertical. That's part of the reason we drafted. I'm not saying that's the only thing he can do, but definitely want to see, because Terry's still going to get double teamed. Until someone else proves that they can take the top off and that they have to worry about other players, Terry's going to receive all of the attention, and rightfully so. Until other guys show up, Terry's going to be double teamed. So Dyami needs shots. They need to know we got other dudes now. It's not just exclusively Terry that can get vertical and take the top off. I need Dyami Brown to get some opportunities down the field. I need to see Logan Thomas running up the seam and him getting opportunities on the seam ball. I need the Chargers to know that other guys can hurt them. So we need to take some vertical shots. So let's get some explosive plays. And I don't care how they come, wide receiver screen. You get creative in a bunch formation, you flood one side of the field, you put stress on the safety, he makes the wrong decision and somebody comes wide open. We need explosive plays. With that said, on 3rd and 2, and I know some of the elite offenses do this, I don't think we're there yet. I want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick on 3rd and 2 dropping back and chucking it 40 yards down the field, incomplete. Now we got to punt. Move the sticks. Make timely plays within the framework of the game, okay? Know who you are, and gradually, maybe week 5, week 6, we can start becoming a team that on 3rd and 2 isn't just looking to get 3 yards. But for right now, week 1, I just want to move the sticks. I just want another fresh set of downs. We were great at that last year because we didn't have any other choice. If we didn't continue to move the sticks, we weren't going to score because we weren't an explosive offense. Now we have the capability to be explosive, but don't go to the other end of the spectrum by trying to hunt big plays when the first down on 3rd and 3 is right here in front of you. 5 yards right here, get the first down, move the sticks. No, you want to chuck it 30 yards down the field. And now it's incomplete, we got to punt. Be smart. Situational football, move the sticks. Look for explosive plays now. They dial up a shot and it's a one-on-one opportunity. Give your guy a chance. That said, be smart about the situation. 3rd and 2, you got a 3-yard route here. Guys open, get him the football, move the sticks. Finally, offensively, this supersedes everything I've already said. Because everything I just said could be a house of cards, and if you pull this one card from the base, all of that stuff that I just said comes tumbling down. Protect the Duke. We have to protect the football. We just watched a game in which the Dallas Cowboys forced 4 turnovers. Still lost the game. On the flip side of that, the Buccaneers turned it over 4 times. I can guarantee you, if we turn the football over 4 times, we will not win. We are not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We are not the defending Super Bowl champions. We do not have Tom Brady at quarterback. We turn it over 4 times, we will lose. We have to protect the football. We can't put our defense in compromising situations time and time again and expect them to continuously bail us out. The Chargers are a good football team. Despite their record last year, they lost a lot of close games. They are a good football team. Brand new head coach, don't know what they're going to look like on the defensive side of football, but offensively, we know they're good. Can't afford to give them extra opportunities to score points. Protect the Duke. Above all else. Protect the football. Washington's D versus the Chargers offense. Save the best for last. So we think this defense has a chance to be dominant this year. We'll see. This is a great test right out of the gate against a young and up-and-coming offense and a quarterback that lit the NFL on fire last year. So the first thing I want to do to the Chargers offensively is make them one-dimensional. That's the first key to the game, is make Justin Herbert have to beat us. That could be a scary proposition, but I'd much rather have it be that way than to have them have a two-way go of it. Make Justin Herbert have to beat us. If we can do that, we'll give ourselves a chance on 3rd and long, and maybe, just maybe, it will fold right into my next key to the game. But you have to make them choose. At times last year, we didn't make teams choose one or the other. We just let them run it down our throats. And then once you do that, now we got to go to a 5-2 look. Now you're bringing an extra defender into the box. And all of a sudden, now you see Matthew Stafford, because we couldn't stop their run game. He's taking shots down the field and hitting chunk plays for touchdowns. A couple of touchdowns, 30 yards or more in that first half against us. Why? Because we had to put an extra defensive lineman on the field because we couldn't stop the run. And we were trying to get cute back there in the secondary with inverted cover 2s and things of that nature. Bottom line is, make them one-dimensional. Stop the run first. On the way to the quarterback, of course. Play the run. Take away the run game. The Chargers are not a dynamic rush offense. They're not a put your dick in the dirt type of offense. Just like us, we're not a put your dick in the dirt type of rushing attack. But if you fall asleep behind the wheel, they can run it. But that's not who they are. Take it away. Totally. Make Justin Herbert have to convert 3rd and long after 3rd and long after 3rd and long. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11. Make him have to continuously convert those. If he does, you tip your cap. But I like my chances on 3rd and 8 with Chase Young on one side, Montez Sweat on the other, and Matt Ioannidis and Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen on the football field. I like my chances on 3rd and 8, on 3rd and 9. Next key to the game. Hit Herbert early and often. Keep contained. Okay? So this guy's not only a skillful passer with a massive arm to get the football anywhere on the field off of multiple platforms. He does not have to be with a firm base, standing erect, pause to get the football 40, 50, 60 yards down the field. This man can rifle it off of one leg, falling backwards 40 yards with the flick of a wrist. So you have to keep him in the pocket. You have to keep contained. You let him get outside of your defensive end, he's got a two-way go of it now. He can either extend, and the longer you give guys an opportunity to get open down the field, the harder you make it for those guys to cover. You're looking to give up a big play, or he can just flat out run. Guy's an athlete. So keeping him in the pocket, keeping contained is going to be paramount. But I think if you want to rattle the cage of a young quarterback, you got to hit him early and you got to hit him often. You want them to start seeing ghosts. You want their eyes to start coming down to the rush. You want them to feel like the clock is speeding up. That's how you get guys to make mistakes. They think because they got hit twice on the first possession, and then on the second possession, they got hit again. On that third possession, he feels it a little bit faster. Now, all of a sudden, that ball comes out a little hot, maybe high, tips off of somebody's hands, right into a waiting hands of a defender. That's what pressure does. You don't always have to get sacks to impact a quarterback, but you do have to let them know we're here and we're not going anywhere. It'd be nice to get to Herbert early in this game and establish that you're not going to have all day to build a house back there. You have to make some decisions, maybe ones a little bit hastier than you want to. We need to get to Justin Herbert early and often, and most importantly, keep him in the pocket. If he's able to extend and escape, we're going to be in for a long day. This one is important because of the trend we saw with this team last year and our inability to keep things in front of us. The next key to the game is keep everything in front of us. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. Okay. Last year, our penchant for giving up big plays in the passing game was nauseating, especially early in the season. But it didn't stop late in the season. We just played worse quarterbacks. So it went away temporarily. But once we saw Tom Brady, once again, we started giving up big plays in the passing game. We have to make sure we keep everything in front of us. That was not a strength of ours last year. You could blame Troy Apke early in the season if you like. They pulled him out of the lineup. You could blame Kendall Fuller at times. He was getting cooked. You could blame the coverage. We were playing that inverted cover two, and we were messing up coverages. You could blame whatever you like. The bottom line is it's a results-driven league, and we didn't keep guys in front of us, and we gave up a plethora of big plays last season in the passing game. I'd like to get off to a much cleaner start this year. And I think the Chargers are a team with Herbert's arm and some of their skill guys. They can stretch the football field vertically. Mike Williams is one of the best 50-50 go-getters in the league. You give him one-on-one coverage, you throw it up. This guy's got a ridiculous vertical. He's already 6'3", 6'4". He goes, climbs the ladder, goes get the football. There aren't many in the league better at attacking the ball in the air and going and getting it. His 50-50s aren't 50-50s. They're 70-30s. He's one of those types of guys. But they've got a guy on their team named Jalen Guyton. Probably never heard of him. But again, I watch all these games, so I'm telling you, the guy can fly. Flat out. He's in the game for one reason and one reason alone. And that's to beat you deep. So if we're not on our P's and Q's, Y's and Z's, this is a guy last year that had 4 catches over 45 yards or more. Okay? Had a 49-yard catch, had a 53-yard catch, and he had a 70 and a 72. If you're not careful, he will take the top off your defense. He can flat out fly. And Herbert can get it to him. He's got the arm strength. So we have to be mindful of keeping make the Chargers earn it. Look, if they earn it, they earn it. They go on a 13-play, 73-yard drive. Hey, I tip my cap. What I don't want to see is a 2-play, 78-yard touchdown drive capped off by a 74-yard touchdown strike. That's what I don't want to see. Make them earn it. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. Keep everything in front of us. And tackle. It's the first game of the season. I don't want to see shoddy tackling. Tackle. Get guys on the ground. Finally, win the turnover battle. It's cliche. We say this almost every week, but we're not good enough to lose the turnover battle consistently and still win. And this schedule isn't set up. Unlike last year, where you could have a couple of turnovers and still manage to win the game because you were playing lesser teams and lesser quarterbacks. This schedule isn't set up for us to lose the turnover battle 2-1 and still win. Win the turnover battle. I talked about protecting the Duke on the offensive side. We got to take it away on the defensive side. It'd be nice to get a couple of turnovers in this game because I think we're going to turn it over once. So it'd be nice to get 2 of our own back in return. And I don't care how we get them. I don't care if it comes on special teams. I don't care if it comes via a fumble by Austin Eckler. I don't care if it's a Justin Herbert interception thrown. I don't really give a shit how it comes. I just want it. And then to expound upon that, we got to win special teams. We have to win 2 out of the 3 phases of the game. I think we can win the defensive side of the football. I think we need to also win special teams. I'm not sure what our offense is going to look like. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't impressed in the preseason. So I don't know what to expect. I trust Scott Turner just like I put full 100% faith in Jack Del Rio. I feel the same way about Scott Turner. He's going to have them prepared. He's going to have a great game plan. I think he's going to go out and they're going to execute. I just don't know what it's going to look like. We need to win special teams. You know, our special teams coordinator, Nate Kazzer, he's ranting and raving about DeAndre Carter. How he gets up the field and he's this and he's that. Okay, we're going to find out. Punt return was a big problem for us last year. Well, he's on punt returns. Let's see what he does. Dustin Hopkins, the whole operation has been all the talk of the offseason. You know, Cameron Cheeseman, it's coming in hot. It's melted cheese. Okay. Got all of that out of our system. The operation should be moving as one. What do we have? We saw last night's game be impacted by a field goal kicker that couldn't put it through the uprights. let us not be the team affected in a negative way because our kicker couldn't put the football through the uprights. Win special teams and protect the Duke, but more importantly, win the turnover battle. I think we're going to turn it over once. We need to get that one turnover back +1. If we draw even in the turnover battle, I still like our chances. We go +1 in the turnover battle, I like them even more. You fall down in the turnover battle, -1, now the chances start to decrease, and they continue to decrease as you fall further and further behind in the turnover battle. Gotta win that. Got to. So, where does that leave us? Final outcome for the game. I have us winning in week 1 over the Los Angeles Chargers in a nail-biter, 27-23. The defense is going to have to get a stop on the final possession of the game. Herbert is going to push the Chargers within striking distance, right around the 18-yard line, and the defense is going to have to raise up and get a stop late in the ball game to preserve the victory, 27-23. The Chargers are going to jump us early in the game, 10-0. We're going to go, oh shit, here we go again with this starting slow bullshit. By the time we get to halftime, the Chargers will have a 13-10 lead. We'll jump on top of the Chargers in the third quarter, which is what we do best. Come out guns a-blazing third quarter. We'll score 10 unanswered points to start the third frame to take a 20-13 lead over the Chargers. The Chargers will then rally back, score 10 unanswered of their own to take a 23-20 lead with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick in the offense responds one final time, scores with 2:27 left in the fourth quarter to give us a 27-23 lead. He'll hit Logan Thomas in the end zone to give us the lead for good. The defense will have to stop Justin Herbert. He'll fall 18 yards short of pay dirt. We hold on 27-23. That's my score and more. What's yours? Leave it in the comments section. What do you think this game is going to be? Who comes out victorious? How and why? That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Washington Football Report, or Washington Football Nightly. I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to our beloved Washington football team. Looking forward to your comments, seeing what you think is going to happen in this football game. One thing's for sure, we're going to find out a lot about this defense and offense in week 1. A lot of expectations, a lot of unknowns for both teams. Chargers didn't play their starters. We'll see if that impacts them at all. I'm hoping they get off to a slow start. I'm not seeing that happen, but I hope they get off to a slow start because they didn't play their starters offensively in the preseason. But as we saw last night, the Cowboys didn't really play their starters in the preseason either, and they didn't look to miss a beat. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. I think we do enough to get the victory. I hope that is the case. Whatever happens, we'll break it all down at the end of the game. Washington Football Overtime live on the LouieTeeNetwork. We'll talk about the game, how the outcome came to be, and more. So with that said, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Washington Football Nightly. Until next time, you guys have a good one. And remember, if you haven't already done so, please do me a huge solid. Subscribe to the LouieTeeNetwork for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And hit the like button, as that helps this channel grow immensely. Until next time, you guys take care. Have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20.